My old court is gone. Unfortunately, this is a site of a removal of an old court. You know what I mean? This was a historic court that we played at for many, many years. I think it was built, could have been Holyoke's oldest one-wall handball court. Could have been. But unfortunately here, recently they removed the wall. It was done this year. There used to be a wall right here. I had touched this up with my wife about 6-7 years ago. Tried to make it usable. The wall that came across here. Small court. But about 17 years ago or so, this ramp, which was probably needed, was put here in order to accommodate probably ADA accessibility to the school, which is a handicap ramp, obviously. But when they did this, they cut right through the court and they went right into the court. You know what I mean? Obviously, this is part of the court. So it made the court unusable. I mean, we did paint it because there was a clinic that we did here 6-7 years ago. The court was always really, really hard to use. You know what I mean? Because we had to chase the ball all the way down, you know, because it was never fenced in. But it was still one of our primary courts, this one and the one on the flats. And we were able to drive in here. And, you know, usually that was better when we were able to drive into the location because we can position the vehicles to stop the ball. But it was still great for the community because you had the handball court. There used to be a basketball court there where the existing playground is now. And then there was some baseball being played. Sometimes when the baseball was played here, which was pretty often, it was a little bit of a challenge to play handball because the ball would kind of, you know, come into this direction. But it was still a positive thing in this community that really desperately needed, you know, outdoor recreation, affordable recreation. You know what I mean? Like, it didn't have that. Like right now at Roberts, they didn't have that there. You know, they had the tennis courts. They were all like beat up. But they didn't have the volleyball and the handball courts that are there now. But they've been there for over 25 years, but they weren't there when we were playing here. You know, but this was really what really killed it. You came to try to play, and you can't play with this cutting right through the court. Not only did they cut right onto the court, which obviously makes it a big hinder, but obviously running into this, you know, just killed it. So this court has been technically removed for close to 20 years anyway. This must have been right after they removed the court in the flats, which kind of happened at the same time, and then they did this. So, you know, at that time we still had South Holyoke and we had the high school, but South Holyoke has its issues, which we're gonna go there later, and that's the one at Jackson Park. But we had so many great games here and great memories here. You know, it has some pretty strong games here, you know what I mean, and great tournaments, especially 94, we had some good tournaments here. We did 2 tournaments that year, but even prior to that, I remember, you know, in 1989, we had a really strong, you know, handball going on here. 1988, 89, a lot of handball here. You know what I mean? And like I said, there would be 15 cars here. Sometimes they would turn their headlights on and continue playing. Mostly on this side, though. The back side is kind of the warm-up court, because we didn't have the running space in the back. You know what I mean? Like, this wasn't here, so we had a lot of running space all around, but on the backside didn't have a lot of running space. But these are the type of things that kill the sport, you know what I mean? Like, people wonder why handball dies somewhere. When you have little or close to nothing, and that's even taken from you, you know, you know, obviously it's tough for stuff to grow that way, you know what I mean? Like I said, this is something that we had, and it was not much, but we still cherished it. And then when this was put here, you know, we couldn't use it anymore, you know, so we got hit, you know, we got like a double whammy kind of thing. We had the flats removed, which is the one at, is it Pena Park? That's right in off Center Street, the historic courts there. And that wasn't a great court either, you know, it was a makeshift 3-wall court. We mostly were 1-wall players. Not that we don't love 3 and 4-wall, but if you're gonna make a 3-wall court, it has to be a usable 3-wall court. And that was removed, and not because it wasn't being used. It was heavily used, but there was maybe some dormant years for different reasons, and they were dying to remove that anyway. And then this one here, like, obviously there's no regard to the community when you do stuff like this. You're thinking school, but you're not thinking Because this, to be honest with you, they had another 8 feet here. And it probably could have been moved over just enough so that way the court still would have been somewhat usable. You know what I mean? And this doesn't look like they're really keeping it up anyway. I mean, it's falling apart too. But I'm not sure what's going on with the school. But this was just something that happened at the same time. You know, unfortunately, they had no intentions or caring about the wall. But it's sad, you know what I mean? Because look at it, it's just gone. But like I said, it was gone before. And you can still see our efforts, and we have some videos on YouTube that show us cleaning up and doing our best to try to at least beautify it for the clinic and stuff like that. So what is this? So someone actually puts this here, our playground. It's just kid related, but I don't really know. I don't even know if that's how it even related to anything that's here. It's kind of strange. But that's it, it's gone. You know, they need to, this neighborhood needs like another park, like right in its center like this. You know what I mean? I know they were talking about trying to build a school there, but I don't know what's going on with that. There is a park a block away from here that's always been there, but when they redid that park, you know, unfortunately an element was growing in the neighborhood and that kind of occupied the park. It wasn't like when we were playing there, we used to play handball against the wall or right on Chestnut, and we used to play basketball there. We used to break dance there and all that stuff. But this was the more active area, you know what I mean? Like I said, for handball, softball, basketball, when they used to be there. They didn't have a playground here, but they added that later. They put a bunch of trees there. It gives shade, but I don't know. I mean, I guess I'm not really against the trees. They did add the basketball courts over there. There's one court there. But the layout was always kind of a strange one. I think maybe they were just centering around the school's needs, but they were kind of ignoring the neighborhood's needs. You know what I mean? The school has its needs, and sometimes there's got to be a way to have a balance, because you know that the community uses these spaces when it was accessible, because they did. Well, they probably had some other stuff going on here, but they fenced it off. There used to be an iron gate there. They made it inaccessible for the community to use, and you know they kept, you know, closing it and closing to the point where, you know, people couldn't use it anymore. And look what they have to deal with today. You know what I mean? So, you know, hopefully, you know, they put something or invest even more money into the parks in Holyoke, because it's needed. You know what I mean? There is some changes. You know, I noticed some of the parks, you know, like Pulaski Park and Valley Arena and things like that are redone. I'm looking forward to Springdale getting some money, because I think that would really save, you know, a lot of that neighborhood, you know what I mean? Or at least help it, you know what I mean? From, you know, any more, you know, negative activities. You know what I'm saying? So you need positive recreation. It's not just basketball. Basketball is awesome, and I support basketball, but you definitely need other affordable recreation, you know, for all ages. You know what I mean? So, anyway, just wanted to stop by and see our old court, which is gone, you know what I mean? So just wanted to say bye to this space.